Donald Trump is now blaming farmers and ranchers for high food prices, suggesting they don't understand their business as well as he does. Now, as you know, food prices across the board are rising quickly, with beef in particular going sky high. And Donald Trump has done little to address these prices except slap on more tariffs and import beef from Argentina. Well, Trump has received pushback by farmers on this, and Trump has responded by saying cattle ranchers don't understand that the only reason they're doing well is because of the tariffs. It would be nice if they would understand that, but they also have to get prices down because the consumer is a very big factor in my thinking also. That's right, cattle ranchers. You're the reason beef is high. You've raised your prices too high, and what you need to understand is that it's Donald Trump's tariffs are the reason you're doing well, and now you need to lower the prices for the American consumer. The President of the United States is not blaming his tariffs. He is blaming the American food producers for the high prices. This is the current state we're in.
President Trump plans to flood the beef market with beef from Argentina to help combat the high beef prices here in the United States. Let me tell you why that is a bad idea. For one, the first time in decades, the farmer and rancher is able to finally turn a decent profit and put that money back into their farm and ranch and help keep their ranches alive. Second, if we cheapen American beef, we're going to fall back into the same trend that we were 4, 5, 6 years ago, where we're losing 10 to 20,000 American ranchers every single year. Why would somebody try to continue on a ranch or pass it down to their kids? Why would their kids want to run a ranch that's not even able to make a decent living? And third, a lot of these people are the ones that voted for you. What happened to the America First policy, taking care of the American ranchers and the American people first before anybody else? Now, I'm not saying imports are bad, but flooding the market and making it worse for the American ranchers is not the way to go about this. How do we get the cost of beef down? We got to get the cost of production down for the American ranchers. I'm interested to see what y'all think about this. Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, guys, buy American, buy local, and God bless.
Donald Trump has already hurt farmers across the country, either through immigration policies or trade policies, with maybe the exception of corn farmers when he signed off that allows ethanol to be produced at an increased level year-round, including the amount put in our fuel. But now, he's hurting ranchers. And the beef ranchers in this country are notoriously petty. Do you remember when they sued Oprah because she said don't eat red beef? Well, now Donald Trump is planning on buying beef from Argentina to help the ranchers in Argentina and, in his theory and mind, to lower beef prices in the United States. He's going to bring live beef in from Argentina to the U.S. to lower prices. But the problem is there's nobody to process that beef because he has deported all of the workers. The people who worked at the meat processing plants across the country were overwhelmingly immigrants, and overwhelmingly they have left those jobs either on their own to protect themselves and their families, or they've been deported in raids. So I don't know where he's planning on this beef being processed. We don't even have enough processing power in the country to process the beef that ranchers in the U.S. want processed. But beef ranchers and senators for beef-producing states overwhelmingly are against this plan, and they're throwing a fit, with the beef industry saying that this would destroy the beef industry in the United States, that with the struggles that they're already going through thanks to immigration policies, that Donald Trump is on a path that would dismantle beef production in the U.S. if he continues with this plan to buy live beef from Argentina and import it in an attempt to lower costs. Once again, Donald Trump is proving that he doesn't care about the people that voted for him. He only cares about the people that pay him and the people that paid for him to get reelected so he could help make them more billions.
For the first time in 7 years, China has bought $0 in soybeans. What does President Trump say about that?
What do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are?
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive. If I can help them survive in a free world, I happen to like the president of...
Wow, not a word about soybean farmers in the U.S. He only talked about Argentina soybean farmers. What happened to make America great? Did you know that farmers voted for Trump not once, not twice, but 3 times? This is an FAFO first time in 7 years China has not bought soybeans. And Trump talks about Argentina. Wow.
I really think Trump just said F them farmers.
Question is, what do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are a
Argentina is fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive. If I can help them survive in a free world, I happen to like the president of Argentina. I think he's trying to do the best he can. But don't make it sound like they're doing great. They are dying. All right? They're dying.
And there you have it, right out of the rotten orange's mouth. It shouldn't shock anyone because Donald Trump has always been someone who didn't care about United States farmers. Hell, he proved that in his first term. Farms took a massive hit. As reported by the Farm Bureau, the actual amount of Chapter 12 bankruptcy filings skyrocketed. There was a 24% increase of Chapter 12 bankruptcy filings by farmers because of Donald Trump and his trade war with China. And Donald Trump's running that same play again. This is a breakdown from the Federal Reserve of Minneapolis, and they are taking a look at the 9th District and how it holds up to other farms across the country. You can see the massive spike of bankruptcies that are occurring all across the United States. Donald Trump has these farmers literally praying for help. I mean it.
Federal government steps in to save them. Farmers had no one to turn to but God.
Farmers, in my opinion, dear Lord, and it's only my opinion, are closer to me than anyone else on this earth because we deal with your earth every day. Dear Lord, we're hurting, dear Lord. We can't help what's happened to us.
Excuse the fuck out of me. Did he just say they can't help what happened to them? Hey, Arkansas farmers, I just want to remind you, this is literally what you voted for. You all voted for Donald Trump at a 64.2% clip. I do want to shout out Little Rock, though, who voted for Kamala Harris. Arkansas farmers, when you say you can't help what happened to you, you could. You could. You know how? You know how you could have actually helped this? Pretty damn simple. You could have voted for Kamala Harris. If farmers continue to go bankrupt and lose their farms, this is going to be a huge impact to all American citizens. There's going to be food shortages. We're going to feel it. The prices of groceries are going to go up. This is going to be bad.
I really think Democrats need to take this moment and turn it into an ad because Donald Trump was really dismissive with a reporter who asked him what he would say to farmers who feel crushed as a direct result of the Argentina bailout. Watch.
What do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are a
Argentina is fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive. If I can help them survive in a free world, I happen to like the president of Argentina. I think he's trying to do the best he can. But don't make it sound like they're doing great. They are dying. All right? They're dying.
Now imagine taking that footage and splicing it together with this. An actual farmer explaining how Donald Trump is directly to blame for screwing them over. Watch.
There's no reason for it. This is absolute stupidity. This is a man-made crisis caused by Donald Trump. Period.
And look, I am in no way, shape, or form qualified to be giving out advice on messaging behind political ads, but I think it should end something like MAGA, making Argentina great again.
Baby, Trump lashed out at a reporter as he was getting onto Air Force One when she asked him, how does he feel about the farmers reacting to the amount of money that he is sending to Argentina? And baby, he told her she didn't have a clue as to what the Argentina folks are going through, that they are falling apart. So from what I got from that, he don't care about the U.S. farmers. He don't care. Clearly he don't. Because, baby, she asked that question and all he had to say was those people in Argentina are hurting and that they need his help and that the president over there is his friend. And let's not forget, farmers voted for him. Baby. All I got to say is, you literally get what you pay for. But, honey, he don't give a crap about these farmers here in the U.S.?
Look, so Trump's already screwed over the farmers with soybean, and now he's about to screw over the ranchers with Argentina beef. And Brooke Rollins was on CNBC today talking about how we might be buying Argentina beef. And here's the president talking about it.
You have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as
Look,
they are
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting.
We have to save them. So the reason beef prices are so high recently is multiple reasons. One is we've had droughts in the areas where the ranchers have the calves and the cows. So they had to bring back their flock a little bit because it was more expensive. Inputs have gone up. Gas, machinery, labor, food for the animals. That's another reason. And on top of that, we have tariffs on Brazil. We used to import a lot of beef from Brazil, but now we have 50% tariffs. So his fix is to bring in Argentina beef, and that's going to hurt our ranchers here because they will have prices undercut, which means we'll have ranchers go out of business as well. And there was a ranch on Twitter talking about yesterday, Trump, we love you, we voted for you, but you can't do this, blah, blah, blah. No, this is what you voted for. He doesn't care about you. Make Argentina great again. You have a voice, use it.
So Trump said we should buy our beef from none other than Argentina. Imagine being a farmer, though. Like, for real. Imagine being a farmer. Back in March, when Doge, cut all that USAID funding, it put thousands of farmers at risk of losing their farms because they were selling their produce to the U.S. government. Now they don't have anyone to sell their produce to. Then thousands of farmers over the summer have realized they're going to be in the red because ain't nobody buying their soybeans because Trump started a trade war with China, and China was like, we'll buy soybeans from Brazil and Argentina. Then last week, Trump was like, we're not going to give Argentina $20 billion. We're going to give them $40 billion. And I'm going to sell it to you like it's some kind of currency swap. It's a little loany loan, we're just going to help them out because they're fighting for their life. Meanwhile, American farmers are also fighting for their life, but whatever. And now this week he was like, hey, cattle farmers, I know you're struggling because of a lot of things. The tariffs are part of it, but drought and increased grain prices and the screwworm in Mexico are all playing into this rising cost of beef. But, sorry for your bad luck. We'll just buy our beef from Argentina. Argentina, your competitor for soybeans. Now we're going to buy their beef? He could have picked any other country, literally, that exports beef, but he picked Argentina. It's peculiar. I don't know. I guess this is what winning feels like. Meanwhile, the rest of us are just screwed every time we go to the grocery store because who cares about the American people? Trump didn't run to be president because he cared about the American people. He was on a revenge tour, and we're all paying the price. Anyway, y'all have a great day.
President Trump has spent way too much time talking to foreign leaders and not enough time talking to our very own farmers. Because he is selling out our farmers, and I don't even think he realizes it.
You have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive. If I can help them survive in a free world, I happen to like the president of Argentina. I think he's trying to do the best he can. But don't make it sound like they're doing great. They are dying.
So apparently we're going to buy beef from Argentina, which is going to undercut our farmers who are already struggling. President Trump says it's because Argentina is broke and that they are dying. Well, the United States is broke, almost $38 trillion in debt to be specific. This is what our farmers are dealing with. Blue line is the number of farms we have each year, and every single year, family farms are closing down. The corporate farms keep buying up all the land and consolidating. Average age of a farmer is 58 years old, and there's not enough new farmers coming in. So what are we going to do when all of these farmers retire? It's really no secret why people don't want to become farmers, because investors like our very own vice president keep buying up all the farmland. There's one company alone that JD Vance invests in that is buying up all the farmland, which increases the price. So now families can't compete with the big investors. And 84% of farm households earned at least half their total income from off-farm sources, meaning that farmers have second and even third jobs to support themselves. They are making nothing off their farming business. That's because of the mass consolidation of the meatpacking industry. 4 big companies process 85% of the beef in the United States, and 2 of these are foreign. And this is the crazy thing. As the prices of beef have increased at the store, farmers are actually making less money because of these 4 meat packers who are shorting our farmers but increasing prices at the store. And how did these 4 companies get all this power in the first place? Well, there's 2 reasons. Number 1 is overregulation, where small packers literally can't afford to jump through all of the hoops the USDA has put in place. Number 2, predatory prices. So these corporate packers came in, had super low prices at first, put everyone else out of business, and then when there was no one left, they spiked their prices. Meanwhile, Speaker Johnson has kept the House in recess for weeks, saying that, oh, we did our job, we passed the CR bill, forgetting that the House has a lot more responsibilities than just passing a CR once a year. Like right now, we need to pass the Prime Act, which would allow farmers to go to any state-approved packer and not just one of the big 4. And we need a bill to enforce country of origin labeling. Right now, if you go to the store and you see a meat package that says made in America, it doesn't actually mean that it was made in America. Cows could be born, raised, and blank outside the United States, but still have the made in the USA sticker. We deserve to know if our meat is coming from Argentina or an American farmer. This is what we need to do. We have 2 senators and we have 1 House of Representative. I always have it on my website so you can find them very easily. Reach out to them. You can either call their office or fill out a form on their website and ask for the Prime Act and for country of origin labeling. You should also learn how to grow your own food. I have to be honest, it's really disappointing that President Trump is saying Argentina is dying, because what is happening to our very own farmers? Farmer blank rates are 2 to 5 times higher than the national average. This is devastating. When you look at everything that they are up against, it's really no secret why. That's why President Trump needs to take a break from talking with foreign leaders all the time and talk to our very own farmers. And when he does that, I am sure he will see the dire situation we are in our country today. As always, let me know your thoughts about this and make sure you're following me for more.
You know what I think would be really great is if Donald Trump or JD Vance or Stephen Miller or Pam Bondi or Kash Patel or Kristi Noem, Mike Johnson, etc., et al., would go ahead and come out and publicly condemn the racist Yahtzee text message coming from inside their party. Why are y'all not publicly condemning that? I think that speaks volumes. Volumes. Beyond disturbing. The call is coming from inside the house, and this is unacceptable. This is not a trick question. This is an open book test. Condemn it and release the Epstein files.
So it's being reported now that multiple states will not be able to pay out SNAP benefits in November because of the government shutdown. And more states are going to be added to that list as this thing carries on. But I find it absolutely heartbreaking that somehow the Republican Party and the Trump administration can find the money for tax breaks for billionaires, subsidies, which is corporate welfare for corporations. They can find the money for bailouts of foreign nations. They can find $250 million for a ballroom. We can find all of this money to do all of these things that benefit the top 1% and the rich. But we can't find the money to support the hardworking American people. I remember when politicians used to pretend that they cared about their constituents. But now in this day and age, they don't care anymore. And they make it very apparent that if you're not in the big rich club, You are unimportant to them. And at some point, when are the supporters of this administration going to realize that they don't care about you? Because this shutdown and the denial of SNAP benefits is going to affect a lot of Trump supporters. A lot of them receive these benefits. In fact, so many people on both sides of the aisle receive these benefits because we live in a country that refuses to pay people living wages. We have police officers who get SNAP benefits. We have military members who get SNAP benefits. A vast majority of the people who collect SNAP benefits actually work a full-time job. We need to stop perpetuating the lie and the myth that people who collect SNAP benefits are just doing nothing with their lives and just sitting at home and watching TV, because that's not the case. This nation does not pay living wages, does not pay enough money to the valuable American labor market that they can actually support themselves. But yet, here we are. They would rather watch everybody go hungry right in the month of November during Thanksgiving than open this government up and try to save health care for millions of Americans. At some point, I hope something changes, because it's getting ridiculous. Like, share, follow for more. This is Grim with Get the Rant, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Hey. Look, this is an emotional post, okay? I'm pretty upset. I feel as though the efforts I've made in both education and social activism have been thwarted. I feel as though my voice has been muted. I'm disappointed in the reach that I have not yet achieved. I feel it's almost all been for nothing. And all of this anger and depression the pit in my stomach of not achieving happened on the No King's Day protest. And I know a lot of you are thinking, well, Joanna, like, you did the No King's Day protest video. You talk about important issues that are going on in the United States. That's not the problem. Here's the problem. Just after the No King's Day protest, Donnie decided to have one of his people, I'm assuming his son, make an AI video focused on the No King's Day protest. And in this video, they had him put on his little tiara, very pretty, by the way, get into his fake plane and fly over the protesters. Now at some point, I was watching this and I'm like, oh, it's ridiculous. And all of a sudden, the plane started dropping feces. And I'm watching this thinking to myself, this is exactly the kind of, let's say, middle school behavior that I've tried to teach around. But that's not my big disappointment. I never taught him. I never educated him or his people, so I understand they're still operating at maybe a grade 7 level. In fact, my grade 7s are way above them, but I get it, right? I get the level of humor or the level of, I don't know, what are we trying to bully here? That's not the point. The point that hurt me, and the point that I can't seem to get over, is the fact that it went over the parade, and it was just dropping it on the parade in its entirety. But then specifically, you see, Harry Sisson. Well, Harry Sisson has been AI'd into that. And all of a sudden, it hits him. All over him. The fact that Trump doesn't know me enough that I was the person that should have dropped on, I'm beside myself. The fact that he isn't that angry and that upset and that bothered by me, I have never been so jealous of Harry Sisson in my entire life. This 23-year-old has managed to get under the skin of a man sitting at the head of the most powerful country in the world. And what is he worried about? A 23-year-old TikToker, not me. He's not worried about me. So you know what? I'm gonna I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to re-up my efforts. I'm going to call Harry and find out what he's doing right that I'm not doing. I'm a little jealous, Harry. I'm a little jealous. Okay, a lot jealous. But I'll be damned if at the next protest, that poor excuse for an embarrassing little boy doesn't drop poop on me.